Here we go. Okay. Let's see. All right, caller, let's go. You're going to be our last caller, so let's go. Caller, your name and where are you calling from?
Yo, what's going down? What's going down? MrRudePits right here, straight out of Wilmington, California, born and raised in the Harbor area.
Oh, good, my brother.
Tony,
yes, sir.
I got a couple questions for Marvelous. Got a question for you. I also want to speak on some ancestral heritage, coming across that kind of thing.
Yes.
Where do we start?
Let's start with what you know. I would love to hear it.
So, Tony, I got a question.
Yes.
Do you hear me? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
I don't think
yes, I'm here, bro.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm here.
You guys are muted or something.
Okay, hold on. Okay, you there, bro? You there?
Okay, there we go.
Okay.
Sorry about that. All right. Once again, my name is MrRudePits. I grew up over there in the west side of Wilmington.
Yes.
The housing project, Dennis Strand Housing Project.
Yeah. Waterfront.
Graduated Banning High School. You know what I mean? Class of 01.
Yes.
Just want to give my big salute to my hometown.
Absolutely.
Everybody that's tuned in, that's viewed in. That I want to speak on something. I know you guys are quick with these call-ins. I would like to speak with Marvelous in the future, a little more in depth, maybe even jump on and drop some knowledge. I'm a young Hispanic male, young Chicano male that grew up in the hood. You know what I mean? I went through the system. I went through, survival in that HA. You know what I mean? And I do bullies. I do these dogs. This is my outlet. Coming out of the system, growing up in them projects. My father, rest in peace. You might know him. You might heard of his name, Tony. I understand you're from, the east side. So my father, rest in peace, Big Duke, east side Weed Moss, Richard Velasquez, you already know.
Yeah.
Well, doing my history and the research now, this is the part where my pride, comes into play. At one time, growing up in the Chicano neighborhood, you know what I mean? I don't come with a Spanish accent. My family, we weren't taught, Spanish. And at one time in my life, I was teased by that. But at one time in my life, I'm talking about as a kid, I was ready to combat people that used to tease me for not wanting to know Spanish, learn Spanish, speak Spanish. And I did my research on this heritage thing. You know what I mean? I dropped that DNA for Ancestry.com. I wanted to ask about the DNA question too. To come to find out, I knew my history from my mother's side. But this is a proud moment to speak on it, and I'm wowed by this. My mother, her grandmother, which is my great-grandmother, my great-grandmother's grandfather, which is known as the Barbecue King of Los Angeles. Now, his name was Joseph Joe Romero. This is back in the 1830s. 1850s to the 1930s was his time frame. This is at the inception of what we know as Wilmington, California. You know what I mean? This is back when that railroad was put down. To find out that was my grandfather that opened up the opening banquet when they opened up the mansion for the Pio Pico mansion. Going back into history to see that my genetics, my blood, my line is connected to that type of rich history, California history, way before this land was ever even, California, America. You know what I mean? And going back to the part of being teased about a language, a dialect, right? I looked at it as, I don't want to speak a language, basically doing my history research, going to the Wilmington Library at the age of 13, getting the Mayan book out, wanting to learn the Mayan hieroglyphs and the Aztec history and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Something when I opened this book, it told me, this is your people. Do your research. Something just told me when I opened this book, even right now I'm getting goosebumps just speaking on this stuff. To find out that my great-great-grandfather, the Barbecue King, he's connected to the Gabrielino, the Tongva, which are the native indigenous people to the Los Angeles Basin, and that's where I'm proud to say that I'm connected to that, to find out that those were the indigenous folks, the indigenous people to the land of South Los Angeles, even the harbor area. not being taught this by my family, by my people, but doing the research and uncovering all this stuff is very exciting.
Yeah.
So get to know who you are. Get to know what's deep down in your blood. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But I'll let it go from there because I want to talk to Marvelous also about that Aztec heritage, the hieroglyphs, the tattoos, the markings, all this kind of stuff that a lot of people, you know, they get from where we come from, they get tattooed on them. You know what I mean? But at the same time, we learn, you know, the real truth, like you talked about, those fallen angels. You know what I mean? How about the Anunnaki story, the ancient Sumerian story, the passed down of the tale that goes back to the beginning of man? You know, I did this research. I bumped into this because I was looking for the origins of my last name to find out that it comes from the Castillo kingdom, the noble people of the Castillo kingdom. To understand that, it kind of brought some pride into my heart. Like, okay, so I'm supposed to speak Spanish, but the Spaniards came and raped, pillaged, and conquered my land. To the other people, where I'm 33% Native American, to the DNA of the breakdown on you know, what I'm told I am. 33% that, I think it was like 19% Spanish, and then 18% or 16%, something like that, Scottish, along with, you know, other small percentages. So doing that history research, doing all this kind of stuff, there's another part of me I want to speak with Marvelous about, because I even have these dreams as a kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Native dreams, where I belong in a forest. I used to go to Redondo Beach. I used to boogie board. I used to think I was crazy because I used to feel I used to talk to the ocean, the water, when it'd be dead out there and you have God. Come on, give me some good waves out here.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And then I learned something that I called it a breathing technique. And I didn't know if I was causing those waves or not. Then I learned some other extra stuff, spiritual stuff later in life.
Yeah.
So I'm just telling you, briefing you guys on a timeline of me growing up in the HA, where I was a lost young man. And, you know, you got to survive. And now I did my research and my heritage and all this kind of stuff. And to be proud that my great-great-grandmother, she named me as a little boy when she first met me. She named me Chief. You know what I mean? I didn't know what that meant until later in life to understand that I was destined to be a leader, not a follower.
Absolutely.
I could be proud to say that in life I wanted to grow up and be better than my father. You know what I mean? I grew up with a stepfather who taught me to be better than my father and my stepfather, to be my own leader.
Yes.
So my dogs keep me grounded. I do appreciate you guys' ear. I do want to chop it up with Tony privately and Marvelous if I can. Find me on Facebook. You know, find me on IG, Rude Pits Gotti Line. Find me on this
real quick, bro. My bad.
YouTube.
What's it on IG,
Go ahead,
homie?
sir. Okay, Rude Pits Gotti Line. Rude Pits Gotti Line. Formerly, I was West Coast Rude Pits, and back at home, I was Harbor Area Rude Pits. And you know, I come from, you know, the HA, City of Wilmington. My whole family's from all of the Harbor area. It's kind of crazy, Tony, because who knows? I could probably be connected to you genetically through family.
Absolutely.
My grandmother, she had 8 sisters in all the Harbor area. So I grew up with my family on the west side.
Right.
With my brothers, my family, my dad and his brothers and sisters, they're all from the east side.
Yeah.
We got family from, you know, Rancho. We got family from Carson. We got family all around in the HA.
Yeah.
So for me growing up, it was kind of hard for me to pick a side.
Yeah. Big
You know
Dog,
what I'm saying?
do me a favor.
It was hard.
We have our Instagrams on the screen. Find us, bro. Find us. Because
I just found them.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
yeah.
Cool.
I will. I want to connect with you guys and chop it up. Now, I will say I'm proud to jump on this thing finally. I've had a cousin that's been asking me, Rude, you got to jump on and speak with Marvelous about the fallen angels, the all this kind of stuff. You know, it's a double-edged sword.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And when I talk on some of this controversial stuff, you know, I hold my tongue to no one, and it is a double-edged sword with the whole knowledge, understanding what is what.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, for instance, you know, Spanish rule came through. They raped, pillaged, and conquered. They forced a dialect, a religion, right, on a people. But then we learn and find out. Marvelous might disagree. He might agree with me on this. It took me a while to understand what the fallen angels were. I already knew what they were, right? They were the demonic beings that fell, but there were also 2 fallings. at timelines,
All
there
good,
were
my bro.
also people that were created as a slave line.
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother,
Yeah.
rabbit hole.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
appreciate you guys here. Thank
Absolutely.
you for bringing me on, Tony. I called like 12 times. I was like, man, I'm not giving up.
No,
I'm
glad you got on.
this.
Made up for it.
I
glad
just
you got
want
on.
to say, proud to do the findings, to understand that genetically, inheritantly, I'm connected to that land, the harbor area.
All
You
good,
know what I
my
mean?
bro.
It's so exciting to understand that my people are written in that black and white paper of history. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And it's just cool to express that. People got to do their research. We all come from somewhere. You know what I mean? Don't squander your bloodline away. People live thousands of years to finally get to you, for you to make that dumb decision and end up somewhere you don't want to be. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But who knows? We might end up being reincarnated and coming right back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I got a dream. I wanted to chop up with Marvelous in the future.
Yeah, definitely get a hold of him,
because
bro.
I want him to see if he could break that down for me. As a kid, I had a childhood memory. This was before I was 7 years old, 6 years old.
All
I
good,
was
my bro.
flying over a jungle.
Yeah,
Flying over a jungle. I didn't know what it meant.
Hold on, my bro. Really quick.
I know what it meant.
Marvelous has his number in his bio, so you can chop it up with him. This was our last call, Big
No
Dog.
worries.
I truly appreciate you calling in.
Appreciate your ear, guys.
Yes, sir.
Take care.
Have a blessed night. Okay.
Now that was a phone call,
Yes, absolutely.
and props to him. Like
Yes.
that's beautiful.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
What was beautiful is that he took the time to dig for his, past. And I believe that's one thing that I think we should all do.
Yeah.
So I appreciate your call, my bro. But please understand that, Marvelous, I try to keep phone calls under 5 minutes. So this one was like 11 minutes. But anything we didn't cover, Marvelous? Anything you want to say? If not, give some shout outs.
Nah, just